its Bukia project located in the state of Rajasthan, India. The company also announced a maiden resource on their Labola project in Burkina Faso, and they have completed a ground magnetic and IP surveys on their Basala project in Mali. Mark Bolton, Managing Director, is here to give us an update on the progress of the company. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Bonnie. Thank you for having me today.
Let's talk about your RNS announcement today on the Bukia project in India regarding the acquisition of your JV partner. I am guessing that Panthera likes what it sees on the Bukia project to do this transaction.
Yes, the Bukia project is an absolute fabulous project. It's in our opinion, a global tier 1 gold project and one of the best undeveloped gold projects in the world right now. Panthera initially got involved in the project back in the mid-2000s, and when it farmed into the project with its joint venture partner, Metal Mining India, or MMI as we call it for short, we're currently earning a 70% interest in Bukia, and today we've announced the acquisition of our JV partner, essentially MMI.
And can you provide us some highlights on the transaction?
Sure. Look, there's essentially two components that we're buying. We're buying it through our subsidiary, IndoGold, or RGL for short. We own 95% of IndoGold, and it's effectively we will be buying two components from the shareholders of MMI. Not only will we be buying their shares in MMI, but importantly, we'll also be buying the claim rights that the shareholders of MMI have against the government of India under the Australian-India Bilateral Investment Treaty, or BIT, effectively. As our shareholders are aware, we have appointed Fasken earlier in the year to advise us on a potential BIT claim against the government of India for an ongoing delays and disruption to our license on Bukia for an extended period. So what the acquisition does is effectively consolidate all of the claim rights into one place, and it makes it easier for us to go forward, either on a development scenario if the license is granted, or under the BIT claim if that option is implemented. But coming back to your question, the consideration is approximately 1.8 million Aussie dollars, which is circa £1 million. It's split into three components. There's a cash component of around £500,000 upfront, a share component of around £370, or 3 million shares, and there is a deferred cash component of 200,000 Aussie dollars, which is circa about 110,000 pounds. So at the end of the transaction, which we hope to close in a couple of weeks, we'll not only own, or RGL will not only own 100% of the project, but we'll also own all of the claim rights held by the by ourselves and our joint venture partner, should we choose to pursue a claim under the Bilateral Investment Treaty.
So, Mark, what is the significance to Panthera in undertaking this transaction?
Look, as I said earlier, the Bukia project is a fabulous project. If we're able to resolve the current disputes we have with the government of Rajasthan, the value proposition for Panthera is compelling. The acquisition of MMI effectively increases our overall participation in the project at effectively a compelling entry price. But that does assume that we were able to resolve the ongoing legal disputes that we have in India. In the event we're unable to resolve those disputes, unfortunately we'll have to continue our legal initiatives both in India and potentially through the Australian Bilateral Investment Treaty. As I said earlier, not only are we buying MMI and its interest in Bookia, we're also buying the claim rights that those shareholders in MMI have under the Australian Bilateral Investment Treaty. And we estimate at least 80% of those shareholders in MMI are eligible under that treaty. So that has, in a analytical sense, a compelling value proposition for us if we decide to pursue a claim under the BIT. I should point out that the best solution for all parties is an amicable commercial outcome. It's what we think and I believe is the likely outcome. And the reason is it's common sense. That solution will result in many hundreds of millions of dollars of new investment to build what will be India's largest gold mine. It'll also deliver hundreds, if not billions of dollars of tax revenues for the government of Rajasthan and the government of India. Will employ thousands directly, and the knock-on employment would likely move into the many tens of thousands in Rajasthan in particular. For that reason, I do believe that the win-win way forward is a commercial resolution. It's not about being right. It's about, or anyone being wrong necessarily. It's about common sense prevailing, engaging with the right stakeholders in India at the right time, and garnering the support and broad-based support. In India, one does need broad-based support, both political and bureaucratically, to achieve these kinds of goals. And I will continue to do that. So, from an ongoing activity point of view, we maintain our full team in India, and we continue to invest significant time, more today than we have historically over the last few years, in trying to achieve that commercial outcome. If we're unlikely to achieve that commercial outcome, the likely path forward will be a BIT claim under the Australian India BIT. The BIT provides for damages to be in the form of fair value of your lost investment. In the case of Bookia, which is a fabulous Tier 1 global project, that amount should or could be considerable. And the choice is a potential high-risk outcome for the government of India, or a considerable return for the people of India, and a lot of investment and tax dollars. And that's the compelling reason why I believe a commercial resolution will ultimately and can ultimately be achieved.
Is there other major mining companies that are in India right now developing projects?
Not foreign companies. India is actively seeking foreign investment as everyone comes out of the COVID hibernation. India, in particular, is reaching out to other nations and actively seeking partnerships with other nations to attract investment, increase international trade, and resolving these kinds of matters is in everyone's interest and consistent with the government of India's policy.
And I'm guessing that the in-house expertise or the in-country expertise in India is not as good as the international expertise of mining companies.
Look, I mean, Australia and countries like Canada have very significant mining businesses. I'm not saying that an Indian company couldn't deliver the same. But sure, there's a much greater depth of expertise in those nations. India has an enormous depth of very qualified people, engineers, etc. I've got a, how would you say? There are many good people in India, and certainly, if we were given the opportunity, I think we would do a great job.
I think so too. And so just moving on to your other projects, I mean, I noticed you put out a maiden resource on Lobola, but what is happening with your other projects? We haven't heard much about them recently.
Sure. Look, the other two projects, which are that you can expect some news flow in the very near future, are Kalaka and Basala. Both these projects are in Mali. The Kalaka project is the first off the rank in terms of planned drilling. It's a small program. It's about circa 2,500-3,000 meters of drilling. The Kalaka project is a very large gold system, an enormous gold system that is widely mineralized. The key challenge with Kalaka to date is that grades from historical drilling have been at the lower end. The intersections have been fabulous, multiple hundreds of meters of grade. What's really needed is a high-grade zone. When you've got such a large mineralized system, it's about finding that area, that little hotspot, if you like, where the grade kicks. We've identified a few areas, and we'll be testing those in early November. The other project, Basala's had a lot of activity this year, and as everyone who hears me speak about it, they know it's my pet favorite project. It's a project that we've worked up largely from scratch from last year, and we fast-tracked it as much as we can. We did a 9,000-meter drill program in June, July, and reported some very interesting results. We've only really scratched the surface on Basala, and we're back on the ground in probably around the 20th of November. We only left the ground in late July, as soon as the wet season started, and we're hitting the ground at Basala again as soon as the wet season effectively allows us. So Basala is going to take another good hammering from our drill rigs this side of Christmas. If all things go well, we'll start to report assays before the end of the year.
Well, that's great, Mark. Oh, fabulous. Well, we look forward to discussing the company's future updates, and thank you for your time today, Mark.
Thank you.